You're listening to Hashtag No Filter with Zack Peter. What's going on, everybody? I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday or whatever day you are listening to Hashtag No Filter with Zack Peter. If you're not doing so already, go and give me a follow at Just Plain Zack, because I take really adorable selfies and tweet out really funny tweets. I sent a couple this morning, and you're gonna love them, and you're gonna love what I'm gonna share in today's interview, because I have a guest on that's giving me major nostalgia vibes. I feel like this whole season we've had a lot of throwback reality stars that has kind of like really fed my soul, and apparently your guys too, because you've been loving the new season. I'm excited because earlier on we had Tiffany New York Pollard from I Love New York, Flavor of Love, all that good VH1 pop culture era. And now we're continuing that because today's guest was also a breakout Flavor of Love star. You may know her as Hoopz. Please welcome to Hashtag No Filter, Nicole Alexander.
Hi.
How are you?
What's up? I'm wonderful. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is a crazy taping time, so I've had like 5 sessions so far. So I'm like trying to mentally stay in there with lots of coffee.
Hey, listen, that's how it has to go down. That's how you have to do it.
Yeah. How are you? It's been a while since I've seen you on my TV screen.
I know. Everything's been wonderful. I think I'm more behind the scenes now as well as in front. So I've gotten into movies, bunch of other stuff, just businesses, brand pairings, and things like that or whatever. But I don't think reality's over yet. I don't think it'll ever be over for me yet. So It's just about that right show. I don't just say yes to everything.
Good, as you should. You need to like pace yourself and take on projects that are actually going to provide career longevity and not just a quick paycheck.
Absolutely.
So what have you been up to since, I think the last show I remember you from was I Love Money?
Yeah, I Love Money, and then I went on to produce my own for Oxygen, which was It Takes a Sister, and I kind of let everybody into like the family situation, which was crazy. And since then, just movies, directing, producing, starring, and we just had a film. It's getting ready to release. The premiere will be October 20th in Detroit, and we actually got submitted for the Cleveland Film Fest, so that's where I was, and I finally got to like sit in theaters and see like, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. Like you got a theater full of people that are just like, creatives and other producers and things like that. So you stand for question and air after. And it was just a good experience to kind of be on both sides,
Right.
So that was fun. And I have a boxing match coming up. I don't know if you heard.
I've heard, which I want to chat with you about. So you are going to be boxing against Pharah Abraham.
That is correct.
Is that about? She is wild. I'm surprised she hasn't started coming for you in the media. Or
Listen,
has she?
I'm surprised too. And no. She hasn't
yet.
said anything personally. Not yet. She's not came at me personally yet. But everybody's like, oh, you just wait. She'll smile in your face. She'll be nice. And the thing is until someone personally attacks me, then it becomes personal. Until then, she's just still rubbing everybody the wrong way.
Yeah. Have you met Pharah yet?
That's what she does. Yeah, I've met her. Mm-hmm.
And what have your interactions with her been like? Has she been nice?
Yeah, she's been, very quaint. She's very, I know she has it in her just to come. She has a mouth. Like, everybody knows that. But, I don't know if it's just that she hasn't said it, or like I said, she hasn't came at me yet. And everybody's like, well, it'll get closer, and trust me, she's going to come out when the fireworks have to happen. And I'm like, well, okay, well, until then, I just feel like she needs a hug. She needs some love. A lot of love. I don't know what's wrong, but, we'll take it out in the ring. Yeah.
Are you excited to kind of just like punch it out and give it to her the way she's given it to so many other people lately?
Yeah, it's going to be a good, entertaining fight.
Is that going to be like a good validation moment for you to be like, yes, this is for all the other reality stars you've knocked down?
Well, listen, they're all going to be there. They've already been like, listen, save me front row seats. We're coming. Oh my gosh, I'll probably be the world's new champ. I'll be the people's champ after this. So.
Were you familiar with Pharah prior to being scheduled to fight against her?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Were you familiar with Pharah at all prior to being booked?
No, I wasn't. And when I got enlightened, I was shocked. I just was like, yeah, right. Like, this isn't real. Like, she can't just be going, she's not this crazy. And she is. And so I've seen some of the stuff, I've heard some stories or whatever, and I've seen words come out of her mouth. I've seen her, you know, be disrespectful to her mom. I've seen probably not everything. And like I said, I'm just more concerned with like my performance in the ring, this, that, and the other, whatever. And I mean, I don't know how she even posts. I have been on one of her posts because, you know, obviously we've been promoting for the fight. And I've seen one good comment out of like a million that are just nasty. I'm like, oh man, you really got these people like not liking you. But listen, it works for her.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with New York. Like, you're going to love her or hate her. Like, that's just it. That they have made their tactics work for them. And so, I mean,
you know, and I feel like it's interesting too, because I feel like people want to almost give them sympathy because they get so much hate, but I feel like you get what you give. If you're spewing out nastiness, people are going to come at you nasty.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I think that like they know that. New York knew that. She knew how to spin it. I can speak on her because I lived with her in a house before. I knew who she was on the camera, off the camera, in person, and they were all different. And then like, you know, with Pharah, I don't personally know her. I just see what she's doing, and everybody has their motives or whatever. Like I said, attention is attention, and if that's the kind of attention that you want, you know how to get it, right? You know what I mean? You can change it at any time. So she knows what she's doing, and that's just it. And she, like you said, you get what you give.
I think she likes the attention.
Yeah, absolutely. It's attention.
Yeah.
That's what happens when kids are neglected. You know, like and then they need attention. They do anything that they can, and most of the times if they don't get it, well, the bad stuff works, the negative stuff works. Well, hey, I'll take a spanking. It's something. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so you brought up New York. Let's talk about her, because I had her on the show a couple weeks ago, and she came in as feisty as ever, and I just want to know what your take on New York was, because you've actually gotten to like experience her in real life and live with her and work with her on multiple occasions now.
You want to know what that was like?
Talk to me. Give me the dish on New York. Spill that tea.
Oh man. Well, for one, it's crazy to think it's over 10 years ago. So, I mean, I do feel like she is who she is, but, I just, not knowing her before we were in the house, and then being like legit, we were cool. Like, it was just cool. Like, we were in the same room, like, and then it got towards the end, and I don't know if a producer came to her like, yo, this is the time to turn it up. But I promise you, it was the scene where I had the basketball in my hands, and I genuinely was like, is this for real? Is she being for real right now? The camera came into the room, and then boom. I mean, I think we had an elimination come in that night, something like that. And anyway, she created it. She started the drama. She just started running her mouth at me, and I'm like, bro, you do not want it with me. I'm trying to tell you. And ever since then, like, I don't like fake people. I don't care if it's for a camera or not or whatever, bro. Like, you're phony. So ever since then, her and I on the show, we was just going back and forth because it became a little battle, and she knew what she was doing. So off and behind the scenes, like we never really talked after that. I know she's doing her thing, and listen, she's great at it too. She picks her business moves. She has a great fan base, and she's just going to be who she is. It works for her. I ain't going to hate on nobody's game, nobody's hustle, but just keep my name out of it.
Yeah.
If
absolutely.
it's negative.
So talk to me about how you even landed the role on Flavor of Love, because you ended up winning that show, correct? The first season?
I know. I did. Well, okay, so I was out in LA, and, before everything, I mean, I dibbled and dabbled in modeling or whatever, but I didn't have any clue or about the entertainment business as far as that was concerned on that level. And I was with a friend, and we were at his agency, and she was just like, hey, do you do anything else besides model? I'm like, no. And she told him, she's like, take her to this building. I think this is the last day they're casting, blah, 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 blah. Mind you, I don't know what she's even talking about. I'm a tomboy. I got my basketball shorts on. I don't know. We go over there, and then I just got asked a series of questions I've never been asked in my life. Where's the weirdest place you've done it at? Like, where's how many, you know what I mean? Like crazy, like dating and sexual questions. I'm like, am I allowed to answer these? So did that, got in front of a camera. They asked a couple crazy more questions, and that was it. 3 weeks later, I got the contract, and they said, hey, we want you on the show. And I mean, like, legit, that's how it happened. Right place at the right time. That's just it.
Did you know it was going to be with Flavor Flav?
No. That's a misconception that the entire world thinks. So, like, back then when reality was real, everything was kept so secret, and because they wanted everything to be real for the camera, And so I didn't know there were going to be other girls. I didn't know what the heck was going on. We knew it was a dating show though, like however or whatever, it would be challenges and that was just it. All right. They never said who it was or anything like that. So whenever we were in the house, that was the very first episode that y'all seen was the very first time that we seen each other, even the women standing on that stage. And I mean, it all happened so fast. And then they're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, and then the doors open up and it's him. And at that point, I mean, what are you going to do? Walk out? You're contracted for a show. So, I kind of hid the first couple episodes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is crazy. But Flav is a freaking awesome guy. Like, love him to this day. And we just all had a really good, fun time. And yeah, I happened to win it.
So did you genuinely have a connection with Flavor Flav? And what happened because you guys didn't end up lasting? So what happened after the show?
Season 2 happened, okay? They were already casting for season 2. So, I mean, we can be honest about it now. Season 2 is happening, and they already were greenlit for a season 3. I mean, it was a hit. So the connection for Friend was there. Like, I mean, I love him. Like I said, to this day. But he's a genuine person. He is who he is. I love people that are just them, regardless of anything else. And that ended up happening. But, like, romantically, no. Like I said. So we had to break it off for the, I'm putting that in quotation marks. Hey, when we do the reunion show, you guys will break it off, blah, blah, blah. And then, we got a season 2. So I had to be the bad guy. Yeah.
Because he was the star of the show.
Well, of course.
So
and so they had already, but that's how it goes.
How do you think reality TV has changed from when it first kind of broke into the scene to where it is now, where we have all of these teen moms and Pharah Abrahams?
I think that it's freaking out of control, but people are watching it. The ratings are up, and I just feel like that just shows you the world we're in. People long for negativity, they long for drama, and I think that now it's about the most extreme. Like, whoever can do the most extreme, say the most extreme stuff, talk about the most extreme things, and do, like, yeah, it is a shock factor for sure, but that is like 1,000%. So I think that's just where we are. And I feel like for me and people that are, I guess, more serious in the business, it kind of cuts out work because I've turned down a few shows now just because just who I am as a person. And I don't think that, like, I mean, I get it and it's working for people, but I'm not just going to go on there because I'm a basketball wife or this, that, and the other. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Because you guys could be channeling that energy into a whole positive manner. All these women are watching these women, you know what I mean? Like, for the wrong reasons, but whatever. It works. It works for TV. It works for the audience, works for the world. They love drama. I mean, who doesn't? But they take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. I mean, well, we still had some of that drama with, characters like New York that were on the original reality shows or the competition shows.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just extreme now, So, the bar just keeps on going up. And that's, like you said, it's a shock factor now, so. So
you won Flavor of Love, and then you went on to do I Love Money, and you won that show at all. So do you feel like Pharah Abraham is, like, really going to get knocked out because she's going up against such a fierce competitor?
I would never underestimate anybody. That's like the thing you shouldn't do in life because you never know. So that's my modest side coming out. But my athletic and competitive side, well, yeah, that's what I'm going for. I mean, I'm not going to get in there and just want to play ring around the rosy with her. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I take boxing serious. It's a serious sport. I respect the sport so much. I have friends in boxing or whatever. And I've trained for a long time. Like, that's how I stay in shape a lot of the times. I mean, that's what gets my frustration out the best is boxing, So, but this will be the first time I've stepped in a ring and actually went, head to head with somebody. So I got to tell you, I'm addicted to the feeling though. Like, I think I'm going to get a little bit addicted to it. Like, all I keep seeing myself is stepping in that ring, like no nerves, like just ready. It's a crazy feeling.
Have you been training?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm training every day. Now I'm not boxing yet. I'm going to wait. I have a little plan for that. You know what I mean? So I'm just getting physically fit, endurance, stamina, things like that. And, we're going 3 2-minute rounds. So it's not that bad.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Not that bad. And that is happening November 10th, correct?
Yes, sir.
November 10th
in Atlantic City.
I love it. So I want to talk to you about I Love Money because I think that was one of my favorite shows. What was that like compared to competing for love? I think it was okay. So one of the producers on the show, him and I are still good friends to this day,
And, you know, they wanted me to have my own love show. I turned it down. So New York got it. And so then, you know, there was probably 2 other shows, like The Bachelor tried to get me, turn that down, and probably 1 other show. And then, you know, Chris came to me. He's like, Nick, okay, listen, you got to say yes to this. I'm just saying. He's like, we're doing a show. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be adventurous. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm in. I said, but hold on, it's another competition show. So I said, like, I know how it went last time. Y'all already have, like, your shows ready to go. So, like, is it true that anybody could just win? And he's like, yeah, anybody can, but we kind of have it kind of set up for, you know, white boy to win. And I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'm not going on and lose. Like, I'm going to do the best I can. Like, I'm competitive. If I know, he's like, just come on there. Like, you're one of the world's favorites. You're a fan favorite. Like, just come on. And I'm like, man. So I did. I'm like, fine.
Why white boy?
You know, because they were going to do a spinoff show from that. And they needed like they call it like a seated show. So like we have this show and then, you know, people get their spinoff shows. And so once he won, well, then it'd be like in the life of, you know, white boy, he just won this money, blah, 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 blah. And they were going to go back to Miami and do this whole other show. So, you know, I liked this one because it was mixing women and men at the same time. So I loved the concept. Plus it was dangerous. It's like, fuck it, let me just, but I just cussed. Y'all have to bleep that.
No,
I said,
fine.
Forget about it. Let's just, I'll do it. It'll be fun. So, you know, I got there and made some of the best connections, friends-wise, that I have ever made in my entire life, which is great. And, you know, Ahmad was one of them. Rest in peace. And just had a good time. But anyway, it was just ironic because in the very first episode, you have to do a challenge for team captains. And me and white boy were the captains. And from the start, we created an alliance. It was me. I was the secret one. And it was white boy, Real, and Chance. And it was just us 4. So I was working on the other side, right? So, you know, we wanted to be on each other's teams, but we ended up on opposites. So I was gold and he was green. And it was like that through the entire time, but we kept saving each other through, like, convincing people to save each other through the vault. I think the concept of the show is just the best that I've ever been on. It just was so dang on awesome because you really had to create
and compete.
I guess your path through it and compete at a level to win these challenges. Yeah, it dictated everything, right? So I loved it. Then we got down to it. Everybody's gone. And boom, me and white boy are against each other. So I'm like, holy crap. And I remember us in that room in Huatuco, Mexico, and we were sitting on the bed. And I just was asking, I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, white boy, like, think about everybody and how they left and when they left, you know, because it was so crazy. And being in there behind the scenes was just even more crazy. So we talked about it for a second, and then I'm like, you know, good luck. And then that was it. And then we were up against each other. And I'm like, in my mind the entire time, mind you, I know that they want him, they got him winning, right? But in my mind, I'm like, well, how are they going to do this? Like, at what point does he get the lead, or does he, like, is it going to be a moment that I'm like, oh, that's it? Okay, so we get dropped off at the city, like it's like a town square type of deal, right? There's like 4 or 5 legs to the race. So the first one was we had to collect 100 pesos to get a taxi to get to the second leg of the race, which was running through the woods, then rolling these big old coins, as you remember, down these dune sands and over, and then in a boat, jump out of the boat, swim through the ocean, and then race up the stairs to the mansion, which, oh my God, it was like 1,000 steps, okay? And then run around and then, you know, put the contestants in order from which they, you know, left the show.
Yeah.
So we get dropped off. Here we go collecting 100 pesos. Nobody's taking my money. And these were production people that they set in the square. And I'm like, I said, fucking A, like, this is it. This is how he gets the lead. And so I was devastated. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So he had a 3 minute and 28-second lead. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I get it now. I ended up taking my belly button ring out, selling like jewelry off of my body, like just take it. And that's what I'm like. So I get the taxi. I'm in the taxi ride and I'm like, son of a gun. I'm like, this is it. But I don't stop. I keep going. I mean, I'm like, I got to find him. I'm going to catch up, blah, 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 and at least have it neck to neck. Right. So I'm fighting I'm going so fast. We get to the steps, and for camera purposes and for like production purposes, like we started off on the same one, same step, but I think I made up time by like almost 2 minutes. So we hug each other one last time. So that means that he would start up the steps And then there was a production guy down there, like, he's like a minute and something ahead of you. So, you'll just wait a minute or so. I'm like, okay, fine. So we hugged. White boy's like, Nick, I'm going to take you shopping when you come to Miami, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, listen, I'm just happy one of us is getting it out of our, like, alliance, out of our team. So he goes, boom. Old boy's down there. He's on his clock. He's like, okay, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay, go Hoopz. So I run as fast as I can up the steps, and I'm just thinking it's over. I'm thinking Craig is there, like, ready to stamp my card void or my check void. And that's when the team was like, you got a whole nother thing. You got to go put these in order from how they got, eliminated. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, boom, I run, and then I just put them together, and then, boom, he stamps white boy's check void. And I'm like, get that's why.
Wow.
At the end of that, I was so
excited.
I cried. I'm like, you got to be shit. Yeah. So Chris
you
and all of
outsmarted the game.
Yeah. Like, it's so crazy. So he was like, oh my gosh, everything you do, you just win. This is crazy. You messed our show up, but we love you. This is great. And we were laughing about it though, that's behind the scenes. So yeah, that's how that happened. Favorite show ever.
So, and you actually walked away with the $250,000.
$258
wow.
real $1,000. Yep.
So is that paycheck, I imagine, way bigger than your Flavor of Love paycheck?
Yeah, you don't even want to know we didn't get paid from Flavor of Love. Okay, they got us. They got over on us. Now, where I made my millions was afterwards, because when the world loves you, you're getting booked for appearances. You're getting, however, whatever. You make your money like just going on the road and seeing and saying hi to everybody. Deals come through, whatever. So, yeah, and that's how I learned in the business too. Like, you know what I mean? The contract is everything. You got to make sure you got people to support you on it and have your best interests. So learned a lot.
Why didn't you want to do a dating show?
I think the way that I seen it play out right then and there, and I just like the whole concept of it, like, and I just was very young minded as far as like, and I knew I didn't have control in that beginning. So like, I didn't want to go into something that I felt like I wouldn't have control over, have some say so or creative input. Then they already had what they wanted. And so I wasn't about to just be a puppet, if that made sense. And then like, if it is for love, I mean, I felt like for me, like that's a little bit serious. I'm not going to commit to something if I don't feel like, and in the sense of Flavor of Love, it was like, that was a show and it worked. We didn't know what we were doing, and then we thought it was a real person. We didn't know what the heck was happening, and that happened. So it was just like, I think I went into the mindset of, well, what if it's like a joke again, or what if it's like, and so I just didn't want to do it. I'd rather do it for real if I ever did a love show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Would you, since we're in like this reboot era where they're bringing back so many of the shows that were popular back in the day, would you come back and do either a dating show or an I Love Money?
I don't know that I would compete again, like in a challenge show, but like, cause now it's like about seasons. Like I want something that goes on and on and on. I mean, I would definitely do I would do my own love show probably now, just because I am in such a stronger dominant position, and so I would have all the say so. I totally would. But yeah, I mean, I know like they brought Jersey Shore and all this. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before they get us together again. I know. It'd be crazy. It's gonna happen.
VH1 needs to get back to like those OG shows that kind of like set the reality TV game.
Yeah.
Is there any hope for us to see you back on TV on a reality show, like with any potential deals at the moment?
Yeah, I had about 3 of them, so we'll see. Like I said, it's not over. I think once wherever you start from, I think it kind of just follows you forever and ever. You'll always have the opportunity. So, we're in talks with 3 different ones right now, so we'll see what happens.
Sweet. Any old cast members that you still keep in contact with?
Yeah, White Boy and I are still very close.
Really?
Rodeo. You remember her from I Love Money? Yep, from I Love Money. Megan and I were close, and then that whole little thing happened with her show. They had another season, but some crazy stuff went on. And then who else am I? That's about it. So that I talk to on a regular basis.
New York kind of opened up when she was on the show about the whole Megan Wants a Millionaire. Not criticism, but the travesty that unfolded after they had taped the first season of her show. How did that affect all the other shows for you? Like, was there anything in development? Because she told us that I Love New York 3 was in development, and they had to pull all of those shows as a result of what transpired.
No, it didn't affect me. I just hated that the production company, which who started us all, and I think that they were the best together. It ruined their entire entire company. And so I think that's what happened. Whatever they had their hands in just kind of, became, it just ruined everything because they weren't doing background checks properly or however, whatever the investigation entailed. And so like, that was just it. It just completely demised their company. And so then they split up and now each of them kind of started their own, and they're still successful, just singularly now.
Individually,
but, yeah, in different ways.
And so how did that affect your relationship with Megan?
Well, she kind of went away a little bit. She was devastated by it. You know what I mean? She just was like, Nikki, she was like, I literally picked this freaking guy. You know what I mean? Like I actually really she's like, all I could think about is if I went back. I mean, we had a conversation. She just was breaking down. I'm like, that's crazy to think that, you know what I mean? And she just was so distraught. And then we call White Boy in three-way, and then we all just were on the phone, like, like everything happens for a reason. You're safe now. Like, and that completely, like, I haven't seen her since and really talked to her. I'm very close with Frenchie, too. I remember from Rock Above.
Oh, yeah. Frenchie's still around. She's been on, like, Botched.
Love her to death.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Frenchie and I are very closer than probably all the other ones, so.
That's awesome. You guys need to do something. You need to do like a Facebook, Instagram live, or just some live event. Like tickets would be off. Tickets would be selling out with that. I
know. Maybe I need to just try to get everybody together and we just go and take over a place. Have everybody come. It's a good idea.
That would be fun. That would be.
It would be dope, right?
Yes. So what other projects? So now that you're behind the scenes and you're doing more production, how is your perspective different when it comes to pop culture and reality TV? Seeing it from both ends. I feel like that. Yeah, seeing it from both ends. I feel like you got to in and out, and also just with the connections that I have in the business of kind of knowing what's going to shift because nothing lasts forever. And so there's going to be a whole new wave of things. And I think we are going to go old school before we go, let's try something else now, right? I mean, and you have your networks that are going to be more heartfelt and things like that. And I think I'm kind of go to like the, like I would love to do something for Discovery or the Travel Channel or things like that because I just feel like that's more everyday people. You're touching everyday situations that are more real, So I would love to produce for something like that. But like I said, I don't think I'm done just touching all the pop culture stuff. I'm pretty sure something's getting ready to happen. I'll let you know when it does. Awesome. And so in the meantime, we can catch you in Atlantic City fighting or boxing out Pharah Abraham November 10th. Tickets are on sale right now. Anything else you want to plug, or where can we go and keep up with you on social media, Nicole?
Yeah, all my platforms are easy. Since there's like a million of them, it's just you can find me on Instagram @TheRealHoopz with a Z, and keep up to date on there. So
I love it. I love when people keep it simple and they have all of the handles that are the same versus, having it different and having an underscore here. It's way too hard. I know. I like to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. I wish I was going to be in Atlantic City. You know what? I might just hop on a plane and fly out there and catch a front row seat.
Well, let me know. Let me know so I can take care of you. If not, it will be on TV. So I'll be posting how everybody can watch it soon.
Awesome. I love it. Everybody needs to go follow @TheRealHoopz with the Z at the end and get your tickets. She's going to be taking Pharah Abraham down. I'm not a psychic, but I think I'm calling this one. Pharah Abraham, get ready. Hoopz is coming for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Thank you so much for listening to #NoFilter with Zack Peter. Oh, I loved chatting with Nicole, aka Hoopz. Definitely brought me back to my good old VH1 days. Again, don't forget to follow her @TheRealHoopz and get your tickets. Atlantic City, November 10th. Showboat Hotel. Pharah Abraham, you're going down. You guys can follow me at Just Plain Zack across all social media platforms, or go to justplainzack.com to keep up with me there. Get ready. #adulting is coming back, you guys. It is going to come back this fall. Be ready for it. Go follow the Adulting Podcast on Instagram and get ready. Nikki and I have been putting together a pretty dope season. Speaking of, I actually have to go tape some #adulting right now. But in between then, don't forget to subscribe and listen to #NoFilter with Zack Peter every Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all the places. Be sure to download it, subscribe, leave us a good review on iTunes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go stay busy. Okay, bye.